if there's any sort of repetitive task that is involved, it should allow for automation. Maybe like you have to grind for a little bit to work your way towards automation. I don't know what's going on here. That's the loop. Almost done with this branch. What is going on here? Those are leaves. So this kinda should be open, but then I don't have transparent leaves on. Now that I've made the bold statement, are there any exceptions that I can think of? Is there any game that where grinding is a part of the game and it is welcome? Let me think. Do I know of any game where grinding is a welcome part of the game? Should I look at my Steam library? Although I think only where automation is involved, really. Let me look at my Steam library real quick. There are games where you set up systems that then automate. Anno, I don't know if you've played Anno. Anno is like a series of economic games. You don't really grind. You set up like production facilities and transportation routes and trade routes, and then everything like runs by itself. It's not a grindy game. Never mind. Yeah, no, I don't think there is. Don't think there is a game where grinding is a good part of the game. Alright, back to this. There are games where there are repetitive actions, but they're not really like that is the gameplay. And you're not really grinding. Some RPGs, you do have to grind a little bit for experience. Although, okay, there's an interesting example. Pokemon. The Pokemon series. In the earliest games, Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, you kinda have to grind a little bit. Right? Like if you just play it normally, you will not get to a high enough level 3, 4, 5, 6 to keep up with the content or keep up with the story. Okay, this needs to be like spaced out a bit better. Let's put that like there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me explain myself. So in parts of the game, if you just play through normally, right, just travel from town to town, moving from fight to fight, progressing the story, your level will fall behind your opponents, and you will kind of have to grind a little bit to catch up in experience if you want to like keep up. But in later Pokemon games, that stuff got smoothed out. And as the series went on, there became less and less grinding. I think in some of the latest ones, you don't really have to grind it. I haven't played every single one. I've played some early ones, I've played some late ones. But I think they kind of moved to the point where you don't have to grind at all if you don't want to. If you just want to play through the story, you don't have to grind at all. Like, your Pokemon will keep up in levels with your enemies without you having to do really any extra grinding for experience. So that's interesting. Like, the game designers of the Pokemon series understood that grinding is basically bad. And they designed the progression in the game to eliminate grinding from the game. You can still grind, like maybe if you're bad. If you're bad at the game, or like if you deliberately choose bad Pokemon that aren't supposed to be used. So there's the opportunity to grind if you want to, but if you just like pick a normal Pokemon and just play through normally, then you don't have to grind at all. You can if you want, but you don't have to. Alright, put a retaining wall there. Great. And it's interesting to see that it's something that existed in earlier entries in the series that they then removed from the later entries in the series, the grinding. So it's a conscious decision, right? Like, they looked at what they have made and then they decided this particular part, the grinding part, we don't want it anymore. We're gonna remove it from the later ones, from the later games. Like, they actively decided. And as I said, same with Monster Hunter. I think Monster Hunter have become less grindy over time, possibly. Although I haven't played enough Monster Hunter to really know everything about the series. Oh, I just realized that this is gonna be kind of in the middle of the river here. Still wide enough to get through. Maybe I move this across by one though. Yeah, let's move this back across by one. To make the the passage wider. One, two, three, four, five, six. Diablo. There's some grinding for gear in Diablo. Is it part of the game? It kind of is. I do say to people that if you don't like grinding, you probably shouldn't play Diablo. Because the game is grinding. How is this? Are you gonna try the new season with the immaterial items or whatever they're called? The yeah, I forgot what they're called as well. Am I gonna try it? I'm not sure. I mean, I have pretty much played every season so far. Just for like, just finishing the season of the journey. Maybe, I guess I will. I mean, some people do like the grind. Most people don't, right? But some people really grind a lot when given the opportunity. So what I'm saying is, it's not like you never grind, or you never have grinding in a video game. But I think really it should be optional. And I guess Diablo is like, basically it asks like, how much grinding do you want? Some people don't want grinding at all, like they'll ask for power levels. every freaking season, there's a whole bunch of people asking for power levels. It's like, why are you playing the game if you don't want to play the game? And then at the other extreme, you have people who like really grind out the what am I doing here? Right, they like they'll really try to get the leaderboards and like get the best gear. But like very few people do that, right? Only a very small percentage of the player base would compete for leaderboards every season. Although they do exist, and I guess they do enjoy doing that a lot, otherwise why did they spend so much time doing it? But yeah, it really has to be optional, otherwise your player base is going to be tiny. Because most people aren't going to do it. Alright, so this is 4-2 done. Station and branch. Let me write back and then we move on to 4-3. What's 4-3? Four three is in the desert. What is 4-3? I can't read it. Dune. Dune is Oasis. I mean, not Oasis. Dune is the next one. Oasis is the... There's a number of towns in the desert. Man, I really don't spend very much time down in Loop 4, huh? I don't know any of these places. I wonder. I've been like... For a lot of games, like, I would recognize the endgame grind and I just choose really not to do it. But for the Monster Hunter games so far, it's one of the few series where I don't want to grind, but I want to beat it. Like, I want to beat the grindy stuff. which is the sort of contradiction that I usually don't fall into. Like, there's this kind of trap of wanting something that I don't actually want, if that makes sense. It's like, no, you don't actually want to grind. But I want to, like, I want to beat it, but I don't want to grind. I guess, like, when I criticize people for asking for power level in Diablo, it's like, why are you playing this game if you don't want to play this game? I feel that a little bit for the Monster Hunter series, where I don't want to grind, but I want to beat this boss. Even though I know that the whole point of that boss is grinding. Yeah, Monster Hunter is one of the few games where I feel that. Like, other games, I would just like, alright, I know I don't want this, and I would stop. Going to 4-3, alright, good. Like in Hearthstone, I don't care about climbing ladder. Climbing ladder is grinding, I don't care about that. Diablo, again, I finish the seasonal journey and then I'm done. I don't care about getting the Primal Ancients or climbing ladder or whatever it is.